everyone. I'm Denise Thompson with the Big Sky Conference, and today I have Isaiah Marable of Sacramento State Men's Track and Field. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing nice. So thank you so much for joining us on our back to school special. So it's just one of those things where we like to see how you're doing as a student, as an athlete, and just giving everyone at home a little bit of insight into how you are doing things with this virtual classroom setting.
All right.
So you're not too far from home. You're from Turlock, California.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
long of a drive is that for you?
It's about 90 miles, so about an hour and a half usually, give or take some traffic.
Okay, but you've been back in Sacramento for quite some bits right now, right?
Yeah. I was here all summer, and I was here all last year. This is my 4th year, so I'm excited.
Okay, so did you have any online classes before the semester?
Well, we went virtual back in March, so the second half of my of last semester was online as well, and that was a big change for sure. But compared to this not this fall, it's going a little bit better.
What would you say was an area when it came to virtual classrooms that you thought was just going to be so hard, but it's not actually as bad as you thought it would be?
Something that's pretty difficult is the fact that you don't have someone to like be able to tell you, oh, this assignment is coming up next. It's like you just have to make sure you check your syllabus. You just have to look at all of the stuff that's online that you don't really talk about in person. So that's one thing that's been difficult. But over the last couple of weeks, I've done my best to keep up with it.
So speaking of doing your best, what are some of the keys to managing your virtual classroom workload that you can share to other student athletes out there?
I would say making sure to check your email and your Canvas every day, like no matter what. I probably check it about 5-6 times a day just to make sure I don't miss anything. I just say try to get everything done early. I've been able to get my homework done for the week early because you don't really have to worry about like having to go print it out and everything. You can just you can scan it off your phone. That's what some of my professors have been doing, and then send it in like that. So I've tried to get everything done a couple days early so I have time for myself and outside of away from my computer, at least.
Well, you kind of said getting away from your computer. Are there little things that you're able to do, whether it's take a lap around the block or walk around your house or your room, just to kind of not be sitting there if you have back-to-back classes?
Yeah. Well, my classes aren't too close to each other. I just have like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have classes that are like 10 minutes apart. So I try to get up and stretch, make some breakfast or something. Then in the evenings, I take my roommate's dog on a little run, try to get out the house, try to decrease the screen time as much as I can.
You mentioned roommates. So has there been any noise carryover from you guys having classes at the same time and trying to navigate that sound from different areas in your place?
Oh yeah, sometimes there is. We have a big Mario Kart Wii is a big deal in my house. So sometimes one of my roommates will be playing with one of our friends, and it'll be like, "Hey guys, I have class. Let's be quiet a little bit." But it doesn't really. It's just a good time. So it's all right. We just make sure to have ourselves on mute when that happens.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I was actually playing Mario Kart Wii this past weekend, so I'm glad that I'm not the only one. I use Yoshi, but I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one who's taken it back to play Mario Kart on the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about your classes, the different workload and things like that. Was there a class that you were kind of most looking forward to this semester?
I think the class I was looking forward to is my biomechanics class. So just learning about taking all the stuff I've learned from like anatomy to physiology and everything, and just kind of translating it into like what happens and what are the forces when I'm actually moving, and it can really translate to my sport really well.
Do you have a lab that goes with that class?
Yeah, there's a lab. The lab is completely virtual too, though. So I mean, for our first lab, everything was like we had to watch some videos and then take an analysis from that instead of like actually performing the lab in person.
That had to be kind of different, right? You were expecting to do a lab in person.
Yeah.
Is like hands-on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially being a kinesiology major, like I really like having like hands-on, like being able to see everything, being able to touch and do. So that's been the biggest adjustment for sure, is having the labs online as well as the lectures.
You speak about your workload between the labs and the other classrooms. are there any websites or apps that have kind of helped you navigate the classroom setting to just stay on track?
Well, I use my calendar like on my phone a lot. If I have big due dates, big meetings, stuff like that, I just try to make sure as soon as I see like an email about a meeting or something like that, I put that directly in my calendar, try to keep that up. I don't really have any extra apps for it though. I kind of try to keep it do a good job of doing it right away.
Do you think your technology level has increased at all since having to do now all these virtual classroom settings? Where would you say you were before on a scale of 1 to 10, and kind of where do you think you are now on the expert level?
I don't know if I'm any sort of expert. I mean, I'm pretty good at figuring out how to share my screen and do the reactions and stuff on the and like there's different polls you can do. So I found that stuff out. So I guess it's definitely increased from there. So I was probably maybe at like a 5, 6 before. I'm probably close to like an 8, maybe 8.5.
Okay. What advice would you give other student athletes who might be struggling when it comes to planning or navigating or still waking up at a decent time and not sleeping in? Anything that may have worked for you that could work for others?
What's working for me so far is having a set bedtime. So like 10:30, 11, like I have to go to bed then to get up for my 8 o'clock class. Make sure I get that 8 to 9 hours. Try to aim for 9. And then wake up 15 minutes before class, get some water, get a little bite, and then get that class in.
Okay. On the other hand, what advice would you have for your professors when it comes to teaching in class or anything like that?
Maybe for the professors is, I mean, they have to learn it before we can even do it. So I'd say just make sure that they do their best to understand exactly what's going on with the Zoom, with Canvas if they use Canvas, and just, I mean, really advocate for their students to take advantage of all the things that they have.
Okay. Well, I guess you can tell your coach that you're sitting at the front of the class, right? You're no longer sitting
Yeah.
they're all in the front. So if you need brownie points with Coach McDaniel, just make sure you told him that, hey, Coach, I've been in the front of the class in all my classrooms. You should be proud of me.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Isaiah, for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.